Well, Patty, can you believe it? Another year is officially over.
I know. Isn't that just, I don't know. Where does time go?
I don't know. 2025.
Is now started. I
So
know.
I thought this week we're just going to talk about where did 2024 go? What have we been doing for the last 2 weeks because we did not have a podcast a week ago? And where are we headed in 2025? And we're going to talk about it all starting right now in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
The podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And we are on the mobile podcast sofa.
With Mr. Truman.
I don't know once we move in here full time if we'll call it the mobile podcast sofa or if it'll be the new podcast sofa.
Probably just the new podcast sofa.
Maybe.
Is what I'm thinking.
Anyway, Truman's here. Bess is over in the theater seats sleeping.
And if you don't know, there are Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. And
Yeah.
Truman, whenever you get the camera out, he's there.
Yeah.
He's on it.
Truman loves recording podcasts, recording talking head videos. He loves Zoom meetings. He loves when I teach via Zoom. So, yeah.
Yeah, in the cabin, like, if he can't find you, he goes looking in where you do your recordings for class.
Yeah.
And then he's like, ooh, yeah. And he jumps up on the couch and
he'll
he's
sit
ready.
there. Now, I will say, if the meeting runs a little too long, he's like most humans. He
gets bored.
He gets bored.
He would turn off his
leaves.
camera. Yeah.
Same with class. He'll sit there for a little while.
It's
and
like,
then
I'm out.
Dad's just rambling.
He's
again.
like, I know this stuff. I've heard it before.
So, anyway, well, we are recording on January 2nd. This will actually go out on Monday, January something. So I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
I like how you're being so specific.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's see. Today's Thursday. I should be able to figure this out.
You want Monday, the coming Monday?
Yeah.
The 6th.
The 6th. So,
I know that because we go back to school.
And by the time you are listening to this, so currently we are sitting in our RV at Disney World's Fort Wilderness Resort. But by the time you're listening to this, we will probably be on our way to work or at work.
Yeah.
Assuming there has not been a snowpocalypse.
It sounds like it, doesn't
that could happen that might keep us
Already?
both home on Monday. So you never know.
Yeah, you just don't know.
So we can't predict the future. We can only tell you what our options are.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, we arrived here in Florida
on the 22nd of December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have been here a while.
It's been a little bit.
And, we have had a really good time.
Yes, we had lots of going on at first. I mean, your nephew came to visit. He flew over from Singapore the week prior to be with his dad and his sister here at Disney. And then he came with us a couple days. And then he flew home.
Right. And then Angie and Kevin showed up.
Yep. On Christmas Eve.
And stayed 3 nights, and we hung out. We're going to talk about that here in a minute.
And then our friend Jonathan, Anna, and the kids
have been here the whole time.
Yes.
And they're actually staying longer than us. So
yeah, absolutely.
But Patty, I know you thought you were going to get out of it. We have to do another exciting round of this or that.
Okay. 2025 version, number
2025 version, yeah. Well, I'm curious. On Christmas Day, we went to Epcot.
Yes, we did.
And we ended up seeing 2 shows. We saw the Candlelight Processional, which is the telling of the Christmas story.
Right.
And we also saw the nighttime fireworks illumination show, Illuminous. Which of those 2 was your favorite?
Oh, my gosh, that is too hard.
If you could only see one.
If I could only see one.
Yeah.
I love them both. This is tough.
I know. I knew I came up with a doozy this time. No gimmies.
You know what I'm going to... okay. I'm going to say the fireworks show, the Luminous.
Okay.
I'm going to say would be my favorite over the both. But I love them both.
Right. I mean, that's kind of an unfair question because they're both outstanding.
That's like splitting hairs.
Right.
I had forgotten how amazing Candlelight Processional was. And then the fireworks show, I kind of went into it thinking, because I was a big Illuminations fan,
Right.
Cast member during the time. It was great. But that show was so good.
Right. It was very good.
It was emotional. It was like you had your highs and lows, and the fireworks and the lights that were flickering back and forth, the lasers and the whatevers. It was
good.
Water and it was really good.
It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I was just curious. I thought they were both great, and honestly, that's an unfair choice because they are both amazing. The thing is, the Candlelight Processional you can only catch during the holidays.
Right.
I think they start that maybe mid-December, early December, and then it runs through. I think it's over now.
Yeah,
so,
it would be done.
I don't know how long they ran it past Christmas, but
Christmas Day is when we saw
where
it.
the nighttime show, it runs every night of the year.
You'll be able to see it if you come in spring break or summer or whatever. It's the new show.
Yeah. I honestly would like to see it again. Like sometimes when you see something for the very first time, it's hard to take everything in. But we don't have annual passes, and I wasn't going to pay another $180 a person to go watch the show. So,
because if you think about Illuminations, we saw it so many times.
We had it memorized,
and different parts around the lagoon or whatever it is, and the I almost call it the islands, the countries.
Yeah.
And you could see it from different angles, and we had that thing. We had the soundtrack. We had it recorded. It was yeah.
Well, we have had a great time.
We'll
go back to talking
Pretty
about.
Good.
We rolled in, like Patty said, on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Got my nephew. We met my cousin Amber and Gage.
That's right.
For dinner. They were Alex stayed with them for a night. We all went out to a place called the New York Beer Project, which I highly recommend. If anybody's coming to Central Florida, if you're staying at Disney, you're like, I just need to get out of the bubble for a more affordable.
The bubble, we call Disney the bubble.
Disney World's the bubble is what I refer to it. Food was outstanding. I thought my burger was really good. We had mozzarella logs, they called them, and
those things were huge.
They were literally logs for an appetizer.
They're not kidding.
And then the beers were really good.
Yeah, we tried the beers.
I would go back just for the beer. So that was nice. And then Alex stayed with us for just 2 nights, actually, 22nd, 23rd, and. On the 23rd, we met up with our friends Kim and Crystal, and their daughters Morgan and Sydney,
and then
then Morgan brought some work friends with
cast members,
and we all went over to Disney Springs,
Jock Lindsay's,
and we literally took up there. For those of you who've ever been to Jock Lindsay's, or if you haven't been,
there's a boat.
It looks like a boat. I think it actually is a boat that somehow they built into the side.
We took up the whole boat.
We literally had almost the entire boat. That's how big our party was. But we had a great time.
Good food there, I remember.
Just all we did was, because there they just have like bar food, just appetizers. And we just had tons of appetizers. And But it was just so nice catching up with Kim and Crystal. And Alex, I think, had a really good time.
Oh, yeah.
He met some people.
A lot of pretty girls.
Yeah, a lot of pretty girls. And
the boy was liking that.
When we left Disney Springs, I said to him, because he is a grown adult. I'm like, because he was having a good time talking. And he was like, yeah, if you don't mind. I'm like, no, you know how to get back. You know how to use Disney transportation. So he ended up, I don't know, he came in about 11. He wasn't out
I just liked it. He goes, is it okay if I bounce with them? I'm like, bounce? That's a new terminology for 20-year-olds.
But, the thing is about Alex is he had been down here the week prior with his dad and Sam and Micah. And, he could have just flown home with them. But he chose to delay his flight by a couple of days to hang out with us, which is, I don't know. I just always am impressed. That he would take the time to hang out with us, and it meant a lot. So,
it did.
And so then he ended up. We were going to take him to the airport on Christmas Eve, but they were having
a little problem.
Yeah, they had the golf cart parade right in front of our loop, which meant the road was closed down from 2 to 4. And so I said to Alex, and we had a 4:30 dinner reservation. So I'm like, would you mind if I bought you an Uber? And he was like, I'll buy my own Uber. I'm like, no, that's part of your Christmas, because honestly, we hadn't spent that much on him. The last 2 years.
We bought his dinners. And
we always do that. So he ended up taking an Uber just because we weren't going to be able to get back in here, and we knew we were going to need to change. And
we thought if we take the pups with us to the airport, which was the plan, how are we going to get back in here and get to our early dinner reservation by that time? And it was like, I don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah.
So it
worked out. And while all that was going down, Angie and Kevin arrived and from Happy Acres. Yeah. And so that night we had a party of, was it 8? I think 8. Because we had Jonathan from Tree Talker the Traveler and his wife Anna and
their
Beckett
children.
and Rosamie, right? Along with Angie and Kevin and you and I. We all went up to Disney Springs and had Christmas Eve dinner at
Art Smith's
Homecoming, which is one of our absolute favorite restaurants here.
Yes.
And, just had a really, really good time. Angie was hilarious while she was here because she fell in love with Disney. Like, they had only, they stopped in April and spent one night.
One night, yeah.
But they were here for 3 nights this time. And when she saw all the Christmas inflatables in all the loops, and I mean, she's already planning next year.
Well, you had forewarned her about that kind of, and she
right. And I even sent her pictures of ours, thinking she wouldn't be able to get any, and I would win.
Wrong.
I still pretty much won. Because as she said, when you're down to the last minute, you get what you get. And she got a snowman that was shaking.
Well,
that also
had a cute dog by it, but then
it had a cute dog
set up. She's like, "Why is my snowman sad and scared?"
Yeah, because the dog was peeing on it.
And the snowman shivered like it was cold.
Yeah,
and the dog was peeing on it.
Yeah, I've never seen an inflatable where the dog is peeing on it. But we actually did see another one.
We did, yeah.
But no, we had a great time. And on Christmas Day then, the 4 of us, Angie and Kevin, you and I.
Went to Epcot.
Went to Epcot. We spent the morning walking around the countries, trying different foods. Angie did the Christmas cookie stroll.
She called it a cookie stroll competition.
Yeah. Which really, there's no competition. You just buy 5 cookies and then you get a prize.
But at the end, when she finished, she had to have buy 5 cookies.
Yeah.
To get like some prize.
Yeah.
And she ate her 5th cookie. She goes, "I get my prize."
She's like, "I win." In fact, you can check it out. We have a video
funny.
out on our YouTube channel.
Oh,
Travels
so
with Delaney from that day. I filmed the whole day.
Oh.
We ended up then coming back for a while, check on the pups. And then that night we went back. We had dinner at the French restaurant,
yes,
Les Chefs de France, which was delicious.
Very good.
And then we had reserved seating for the candlelight processional. Right. And then we took in the nighttime show.
Yep.
And, yeah, it was a long day.
It was a long day. We took a break in the middle, but, yeah, not a crazy break.
No.
But, yeah.
And then the next day, the 26th.
26th. We kind of hung out here at the campground. Remember, we went up to, because we had gotten the mugs. Because here on the property, if you buy a little mug, it's for a certain amount of time, but you can get refills on sodas and tea and coffee. And so we did that, and we went to the stables.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we checked out the stables with Angie and Kevin.
And they are awesome. Those horses are beautiful.
And then that night we went to the boardwalk, took them to Traditory Al Forno for dinner.
And we did the lobster lob.
Oh, yes.
Lob a lobster.
Yeah, so
like
over at the boardwalk, they have carnival games, and Angie and Patty did the lob a lobster, where you use a hammer and it flips this lobster, and you try to get it in a pot. They were rubber lobsters, no
hurting of real lobsters.
Yeah, that's right.
And she got one in. Gosh darn it, I didn't.
But I forgot. You know what we did during the day?
What's that?
We did a timeshare tour.
Oh, that's right.
So, which I don't ever recommend doing unless it's at Disney. And the reason I say that is Disney's policy is no pressure.
None.
Absolutely none. That's like a big deal here because they never want guests to
feel threatened or uncomfortable.
So we were up front. Angie and Kevin just wanted to get into the brand new cabins here.
They just wanted to check them out.
Right, because we're looking at Happy Acres. We have about 20 acres that are undeveloped. And so as opposed to putting in more campsites, Kevin and Angie and I have talked about doing like a tiny home village.
Yeah.
And so
Happy Village?
Kevin, well, I don't know. I don't know that there's a
Happy Village?
Maybe that's a working name.
The Camp Happy
Village? But they just wanted to get in.
Yeah.
Kevin just kind of wanted to size up the cabins.
If Kevin would have had like
a tape measure.
Yes, he would have been in heaven. And some paper and whatever.
So, but we were told that you were not allowed to go in and look at them unless you did the 30-minute tour.
So what did the boys say? You and Kevin say right away?
And they go, and the guy goes, and we'll give you each of you $100 for doing it. And Angie goes, I'm out. Because Angie had a really bad timeshare experience years ago.
She said in Mexico, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, no. I said, that's here at Disney. I know, they don't pressure you. And the guy's like, there's absolutely no pressure. It's 30 minutes. And he goes, you'll each get $200. Each couple will get $200 on a gift card that you can spend. So Kevin's like, well, I'll do it. I'm like, I'm in. I'm going with him. And I looked at you and you said, yeah. And finally, we convinced Angie.
What did the gentleman? He was so funny. The cast member, but he was like, "I got to marinate Angela."
He kept calling her Angela because that's her. You
had to write down her.
Yeah. Right. And but the funny thing was, the guy had been warned that
I think he had been
about Angela.
Angela, yeah.
And he said, he goes, look, I get the sense that you guys aren't really that serious. So he goes, I'm not going to pressure you. He goes, I'll just let you look around if you want. And then if you have questions for me. And so, but it was kind of funny because Kevin starts asking questions. Now, the salesperson was expecting questions like, what does this cost? How does it work?
Not Kevin.
Kevin's like, how many square feet is this? Do you know the width and the length? Because Kevin's trying to figure out how we can build these things or something similar. We definitely would change them
a little bit, yeah,
from the floor plan because there were some things that didn't make a lot of sense in our opinions. And we actually talked to the guy about that, and he said they were because what they did was they pulled the old cabins out and then built these new ones. They didn't want to change any of the plumbing or whatever.
So that's kind
so
of
they
why
had to
it's
adapt.
Set up the way it is. Yeah.
But, so anyway, it was no pressure. Absolutely zero pressure. And probably within 30 minutes of us being done.
Less than that. We
had emails with our $200 gift cards. So anyway, if you come to Disney and you want to do the DVC tour, I am telling you, it is zero pressure. And honestly, you and I ended up using our $200 on New Year's Eve and had a amazing signature dinner.
So flying fish. Yep.
Yeah. So Angie and Kevin leave on the 27th, and then it's just been you and me periodically getting together with the Bells.
Right.
Jonathan and Anna and you and I went to the 1900 Park Fair character meal without the kids.
Yes.
Great way to do it. Why have the kids there? That way you get the attention.
Because there was Cinderella. We didn't know she's going to be there. She's the best.
Yeah.
And then we met, and I didn't know her until then.
Mirabelle and Tiana.
And she was beautiful.
And Aladdin, who apparently tried to grope me based upon one of the photos Jonathan snapped. Well, you know how you can just capture moments, and it literally looks like his hand is right in my
your private area.
My private area, but wow. Groped him by a prince. So.
At Magic Kingdom.
Sounds like a headline you would hear in the news today, actually. So,
we look back at those pictures. I'm like, what? Jonathan's like, what happened there? Where was I? And I'm like, I don't know.
so yeah, we've just been hanging out. You know, the only thing is on this past Sunday. There is a norovirus apparently going around Disney
We did
World.
not know this.
We did not know this. Not that we could have done anything about it. But Patty, you've been fighting a cold ever since we got here.
Well, it seems like on the 23rd when we were out with Kim Crystal.
That's when it started.
That's when my nose just started running like crazy. And so I had this
And we're not blaming Kim and Crystal.
No.
Let's just clarify.
It had been.
That's when it started.
It just started then. And I felt, because at school prior to that, kids that had been in and out with different things, and I had kind of thought, oh, I missed all this crud. But no, I got something. And then I thought, all right, you can deal with a cold, head cold. I can still keep going. And then Sunday night, whammo.
Yeah, so Patty ended up with a stomach condition that made her throw up twice.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah. And then I was thinking I had escaped it. But then yesterday, which was New Year's Day, I felt something coming on. I was outside working. I thought if I just pushed through, And once I got all the inflatables put away and everything organized, I came in and sat down. I felt literally exhausted. And all of a sudden, my body was just sweaty. And then, unfortunately, I did end up throwing up at about 2 o'clock. And luckily, I'm thankful it was only the one time. But I ended up sleeping yesterday for most of the day.
Let's just say it was a down day.
Yeah, I sat in the theater seat from like 2 o'clock or a little before 2 o'clock till I want to say about 6:30.
And then you went to the bed.
And then I was like, I'm going to go to the bed.
Yeah.
And I slept back there for a couple hours.
And then got up.
I did get up, and I think by 9 o'clock.
Well, at that point, if you're like what I remember, you wanted something in your mouth. Like
I was thirsty, and then that stayed down, and then you had some white rice left over from your lunch, and I ate that. And I just wanted to get a look because I hadn't really ate anything. I'd had a half a bagel that morning, and
a Jello.
And that was it. That is all I had. So I was kind of hungry last night, and then we went to bed at like 10, I think.
And out.
I didn't wake up till 8 this morning, so I'm feeling much better today, but a little draggy,
Well, that's what I did a little more research because I was trying to just see what was going on because I'm like telling you, I'm like, oh great, look at this. I saw articles from Wesh, which is from Orlando,
Right.
a news about this norovirus thing, and then Crystal's messaging you. They had got
Yeah, so
something.
we found out because Crystal and Kim were like, "Yeah, we'll get together with you after Christmas if you want." We're like,
It
"Yeah,
didn't
definitely."
happen.
And I never heard from 'em. I just assumed they got busy with Morgan and Sydney, no big deal. Well, then Crystal had messaged me a couple days ago, I think it was, and said, "Hey, I'm really sorry that we never got back to you. We all got sick with the
Mm-hmm.
stomach crap. It literally went around to where everybody, Morgan got it, Sydney got it, Kim got it, Crystal got it, and I said, oh, well, Patty got it on Sunday. And so then yesterday, it's kind of a weird thing to text your friends, but I think at about 4 o'clock, I texted Crystal and said, well, the party's complete. I'm now officially have whatever has been going around. And so Kim and I were, Crystal and I were texting back and forth about it. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. But
It's
the
a
nice thing
thing.
is, and Crystal told me this, she goes, if you're like us, it was you were sick for somewhere between 2 and 5 hours, and then you were just tired after that. Like
Yeah,
it
it just
wasn't.
zaps you.
Yeah. So anyway, well, hopefully by tomorrow, which again we're recording this on Thursday, January 2nd. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
Tomorrow we have to head home,
I know.
and I'm just hoping I have more strength. I mean, I could drive today if I had to.
I think
Um,
tomorrow just give us. It's a
I
good
think
thing
so.
we extended
Yeah,
a
originally we
day.
were supposed to have left this morning,
Right.
and I added a night.
Because we realized we lost Sunday because I
Yeah,
wasn't feeling great.
yeah.
So,
So,
oh well,
my thing is when we get home, we get home. We got so.
it'll be fine.
And now we're into 2025, Patty.
Yeah.
We need to get our eBay store reopened.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
been closed for the last 2 weeks.
Yep. Start working on that big time.
Yep. We each have hopefully will be our last semesters.
Yes. That's the plan.
And then come April, I've got to we got to get this campground up.
Well, don't forget, honey, we're gonna get a hold of our realtor.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we probably should try to sell the house. Yeah, next week
Yeah.
I will contact Deb and we'll get this
And-
thing listed, and hopefully it sells by
Right, because you
early
made,
summer.
I don't know if you mentioned it before, but a video about the house with all the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, which has not gone live yet because I've made so much content. I've never made this much content down here at Christmas, I don't think. And so I think that that video will be live or should be live by the time this podcast is live.
Because it's so pretty at Christmas, and we really wanted to deck it out, and now we have a video for.
And you just
future.
reminded me we have Christmas decorations to put away. When
Hey,
we get home.
it's all right.
Yeah.
It'll be there.
You say that every year, and then when we get home, that's what we're going to have to do on Sunday. I know you.
I don't know if I'll have the energy. We'll see.
We'll see. So
it's okay if it goes up until the next weekend, or if we get Snowmageddon.
yeah,
Then
that would work out perfect.
Then we're golden.
Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 2025, I'm excited.
I am too. I mean, it's like the final countdown.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
It's scary a little bit, but
I have some
pretty
goals
exciting.
I was thinking of myself, not goals, personal goals, because I just want to feel good. That was my one wish. The other night at the dinner, I wanted to be healthy was
Right.
my wish.
Oh, that was your wish? Okay.
Yeah. Because you made wishes at the dinner with the princesses and Aladdin. But no, I'm going to try to be more vigilant about when we go out thrifting or when I go out thrifting I'm going to get, like you talked about, a receipt book or something that I'm going to write down everything, where it was and the prices, so that later on, because right now it's kind of like I forget how much something was.
Yeah, I feel good. I can't believe we've done eBay now for exactly 1 year, and I thought the first year has went really well. We did just shy of 16,000 in revenue, which I know a lot of people say, well, that's not a lot of money, but it's and our profit on that is about 50% because you have the inventory cost, you got shipping cost, and and things like that. So, but that's not a bad side hustle. And especially for our first year when, let's be honest, in the beginning, we had no clue what we were doing.
And with teaching and doing the eBay, but now, if I'm thinking in my head, if I can do what I did in June and July on my own consistently,
right,
it'll be
which
even
were our
better.
best months. I mean, July we did almost 3,000, just in July, and so. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good year. We've got Angie and I and Kevin have got a lot of
cool
plans for the campground, And I'm
she's
excited.
Even working on. I mean, she's been working on stuff, but she's got some cool ideas.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a great camp season. We've got a brand new full-time employee coming on to help me, Amy, who was a subscriber of ours, and now is going to be a full-time employee of Happy Acres for the season. And then we also have our neighbors at the campground, Bill and Robin, who have come on, and they're going to be a big part of it. And then we still have some people returning, like Don and Jen, and Steve,
and Darlene,
and so yeah, I think we've got a nucleus, and I think what ultimately. I think that makes Angie and Kevin happy because Kevin doesn't want to be there daily doing maintenance and that type. No, I don't blame him.
He wants to get to a point. He wants to work on this village.
Right. And so I feel like we've got the staff to where Angie would never keep her away.
Oh no.
She won't need to be there, but she'll still be there, and that's cool because her and I are really good together as far as brainstorming.
Oh my gosh! And now she can have a chip on her shoulder.
She's gonna have she does have a chip on her shoulder. She found this little from Beauty and the Beast, the little chip plush, and it has like a magnet, so you can put it on like.
Yeah, it's these new plushes now. We've seen them before.
They're magnetic.
They have a magnet in the bottom, and then they have this thing that looks like a round little cloth that has a magnet in it, and you put it underneath, let's say, underneath your shoulder of your shirt. Match it on your skin, and then you put the little guy right there, like her little chip. So she was walking around with a chip on her shoulder.
I'm like, well, somebody's got a chip on their shoulder. So she was like, I have to have it.
And that was so funny. Those other guests that were visiting the park that day, they saw us cracking up. They were cracking up because we're like, oh, she's got a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
A little
Angie got a chip, and Kevin got to eat crickets with me.
You guys ate crickets.
We did. I forgot about it until just now. So Patty and Angie went to ride the little boat ride in the Mexican pavilion.
Yes,
and so I took. Kevin likes tequila, so I'm like, there was a tequila bar. I go, let's go do a tequila tasting, and so. It was like 5 tequilas, I think, but the one you were supposed to eat these little crickets.
Oh my gosh!
And then sip, and then take a bite of an orange slice. And unbelievably, the crickets really did change the flavor in a very positive way of this particular mezcal. And Kevin was. I was shocked. He was more reluctant to do the cricket.
He was a little leery, even in your video. He was a little...
Yeah, versus me. I was like,
dive right
He's like, are you going to do it? And I'm like, heck yeah, when in Mexico, So, oh my gosh, we had a good
And what, Kevin's trying to give crickets away to the other guests?
Kevin was trying to give the crickets to the people at both sides of us. There was tables on both sides of us. And, although the one table left and a new group came in of 3 ladies, and one of the ladies, this was right as we were getting ready to leave, and she's like, all right, I'll try one. And so we handed it to her, and she tried one, and she's like, yeah, they don't taste bad. I mean, we didn't have any mezcal at that point. We had drank everything.
Now, do you know how these crickets were prepared?
I have no idea.
Were they weren't moving?
No. They were dried.
Dried cricket?
Yeah, so I don't know if
I don't know if they were dipped in maple syrup or anything.
Know. They might have been. So. Anyway, all right, well, this one's went really long, I think. And, I don't know what we're going to call this episode, like the episode about nothing, the episode.
How about, it's like that show. The show about nothing.
The show about nothing, yeah.
Oh, what was Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, yeah. I don't know. We just thought, well, let's sit down, record a show. Let's kick off 2025.
I know what you could call it. 2025 Jibber Jabber.
Jibber Jabber for 2025. Well, thank you to all of you for continuing to put up with our Jibber Jabber. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And a huge shout out to Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Yes, Happy New Year, Jim.
Yes, and Abe, who should be here with us.
They should.
They are both former cast members and live down here.
Yep.
Wish they could be here with us because
we saw Chip and Dale the other night.
I know. It made you think of Abe. I know. Anyway, and for those of you going, who is Jim and Abe? Well, Jim is our friend. Well, they're both our friends, but Jim produces this podcast for us.
He makes it sound amazing.
Yes, he does. So
hopefully he can take care of this nasally.
Maybe. I don't know if he's that good. But
yeah, I've had this nasal thing going on.
All right, everyone. Well, we hope you had a wonderful Christmas and your New Year has kicked off on the right foot. And we look forward to seeing you all this year.
Absolutely.
And until next time, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.